日本時間5月17日、米国時間5月16日、シカゴ、ホワイトソックスが宿敵カブス相手に圧巻の5本塁打を放ち、打線爆発で快勝した。中心にいたのは、またしても村上宗隆だった。村上はこの日、自身メジャー初となる1試合2本塁打を記録。豪快な16号、17号を叩き込み、本拠地を熱狂に包んだ。番組内では、ミスした球は絶対に逃さない打者、と絶賛され、圧倒的なバットスピードと低めへの対応力が高く評価された。さらに、ミゲル、バルガス、コルソン、モンゴメリーとの若き中軸トリオが再び揃って本塁打を記録。今季すでに4度目となり、ホワイトソックス打線の破壊力は全米でも大きな話題となっている。ベンチでは寿司パフォーマンスも飛び出し、チームの結束力と勢いを象徴する場面となった。一方、カブス先発ジェイミソン、タイヨンは試合後、村上に対して同じ攻めを繰り返しすぎた、と反省。彼は甘い球を確実に仕留める、と脱帽した。先発デイビス、マーティンも安定した投球を見せ、投打が完全に噛み合ったホワイトソックス。かつて本塁打数で低迷していたチームは、今や、最も危険な打線へと変貌を遂げつつある。そして、その象徴こそが村上宗隆だ。番組ではこの後、村上の打撃分析と試合映像がさらに詳しく紹介される。ぜひ最後までご覧いただきたい。
Miguel, you reminded fans last night that this series isn't over. What did you like most about how you and your teammates responded tonight?
I mean, we play really good baseball today. We prepared for today, and we got a good result.
They say hitting's contagious, but 5 homers, what got into this lineup?
Yeah, I mean, we're taking really good at-bats, and, we put good swings today, and we got good results.
This is the 4th time you, Mune, and Colson have homered in the same game. Do we have a nickname for this trio yet?
No, not yet, but we might make one at some point we have to.
Well, I saw you guys feeding each other sushi.
Yeah. That Mune made that up, so it was very funny.
For you, between last season and this season, you've hit .433 with 5 homers. What is it about this series and this rivalry that brings out the best in you?
I just want to compete out there. I want to be, the best I can be in the field, and we got a lot of excitement for this series, and I just want to be part with the boys, and we got a good game today, and hopefully we got another one tomorrow.
Well, let's talk about the pitching. What sort of confidence does that instill in you guys, knowing Davis Martin is on the mound?
No, I mean, he's been pitching great the whole year. Bring us a lot of hope for, score some runs early, and, he keep moving during the game, pitch 6-7 innings, and, that's huge for us and for the bullpen too.
All right, let's talk about the buttons here. You got 2 unbuttoned. Are we going to get a 3rd? You told me if you hit well, you're going to get a 3rd.
Yeah, maybe when get a little more warm in here, I will go 3, but yeah, 2 is fine for now.
All right, thanks, Miguel.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Miguel Vargas with Brooke Fletcher. Ozzy, you want to talk about some magic? Are you ready to talk about some magic? There's magic in the air with the White Sox because Munetaka Murakami hadn't homered in 6 games. On the pregame show, I predicted that he would go deep tonight. But you know what? That's good. That's good, but that's nothing compared to what Mike Vassell did in this game. 3rd inning, before Murakami came to the plate. All right? What was Mike Vassell doing? Well, we're going to first show you the home run. And that's a bomb. Almost caught.
Believe me, that ballpark going to be very close for this guy. Very shrink for this guy. I don't know how many home runs. This guy's stay healthy. He's going to strike out 200 times. He's going to walk 100 times. He might, but he will hit the home run. He's going to give people RBIs. Get on base for him. He's going to drive you in.
All right, so he hits the homer, but we got to go back to what happened before the home run because here is, well, that's after the home run, but we have video, I thought, of him before the home run. Are we running that? I guess we're not running it. All right. Solo home run. That was great. Yeah, there was a wand. He was waving.
No, I want to do it to you to see this thing get better.
I know. Well, Mike will tell us about it on the pregame show, but before he hit the home run, he's doing that with his wand. Then he hits the home run. Then after he, was there again. It was amazing. So that was incredible. Now, then we got to get to Colson Montgomery. Vargas homered. Murakami homered. Colson had, they call it FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh, what?
Fear of missing out. FOMO.
Please. When we leave,
you know what?
when we leave the show, can you explain to me? Listen, We've been working together for 5 years.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you drop this to me like...
Because I'm trying to say you speak Guyanese,
and
I speak Guyanese. This is Chuckies.
I wish I could speak Chuckies.
Yeah.
Chuckinese.
I mean,
because you're
the young
Chuckinese.
people are saying that.
It's just like, when you drop the wall, like, I look around.
No, I'm explaining it to you. It means fear of missing out. So Colson saw Murakami homer. He saw Vargas homer. And 2 batters later, Montgomery did this. Colson, where did he homer? He homered to Homer Glenn. Way back there. Ozzie, this ball landed in your backyard. It was off the suite window.
Get out of the way, Ozzie. Get out of the way. Capitan.
Here comes
Oh,
a
my
ball.
God.
I've never seen a ball hit the suite windows before. Have you?
By the way, you know what? That's why I keep talking about these kids. Listen, guys, and I hope somebody told him I'm not into his behind.
Oh, are you preaching again?
Every day. No, hey, somebody do bad, I will own his behind right away. Hey, this thing. But it just, this guy can be so good. I'm going to make, I don't know, I'm going to make a statement. Say,
all right.
He got to be so good.
Yeah?
I want to be his agent.
I think everyone in town wants to be his agent.
Okay, but I know baseball. I know what he can do. I want to be his agent.
Yes.
I want to work for free. I want to make money for free.
Yeah, make money for free?
Hey. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything. Say,
all right.
Look at my guy, what he did.
Okay, so if you want to be his agent for free, I think you'll be his agent.
I'm going to be his agent for free.
Okay.
No, the song is, I make a business around.
Yeah.
I will take the money.
You say, hey, Colson, I'll be your agent
for free.
For 0%. I think you'll be his agent.
Yeah, by the way, but I also got to continue to play you money. Oh, baby.
Okay, well, the White Sox were not finished. Neither was Murakami. He's our Yingling player of the game. 5th inning, Mune again. And this one was hit further than the first one, 428 feet. The first multi-homer game of his White Sox career, number 17. He's now second most in the majors behind Kyle Schwarber, who now has 20. And what I love about Murakami doing this is he's rising to the occasion time and time again. And, you know, it didn't happen last night, but what I wanted for him and for White Sox fans was, okay, first White Sox Cubs series on the south side, a Mune bomb, and we got 2 tonight.
By the way, it's more coming, Chuck.
Yeah?
More coming. I know this ballpark better than a lot of people. More coming. Why? I just saw him hit a home run straight center field. That means, you know, a dead pull hitter.
Yeah.
Not me. Whatever mistake you're going to make, I got to get you. He's strong enough. He got power.
Yeah, he got power. Lots of power.
He got a lot of power. Okay, by the way, when he starts hitting the ball, let's say it, it's going to be fun.
It already is fun.
No, it's going to be more fun.
More fun.
It's more coming. I know.
Yeah.
I play in that ballpark
So how many home runs is he going to hit? 90? 100 home runs?
No, I don't think I expect that to him because he's not that good. Nobody's that good. No, I understand, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, this is what's crazy, and this is fun. Murakami, Vargas, we heard Brooks say it. Murakami, Vargas, and Montgomery have homered in the same game 4 times already. The White Sox record for the season for having 3 guys homer 4 times, homer in the same game, the record's 5. The record is 5. They've done it 4 times. We're not even in June yet. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what's going on here. Meanwhile, Jameson Taillon, he'd already given up 4 home runs. I'm like, oh, he must be out of the game. He's still in the game, and Andrew Benintendi added to the home run list in the 6th inning, taking him deep. This is his 3rd of the year, the 5th home run of the game. At this point, Taillon's like, are you kidding me? Another homer? And you mentioned it. If a pitcher comes to this park or faces this team, home or a road, and they don't have their best stuff, this can happen.
Well, you know what? When you go to pitch in the ballpark, I want the pitching staff at this ballpark, the White Sox, make sure they sink the strike, sinker. Make sure the ball, keep it low because you leave it up or change it up, you're going to pay the price.
Look at that list. Yankees, Braves, White Sox, Dodgers. You want to guess where the White Sox ranked in home runs in the majors 2 years ago? They were last. To go from last to tied for 2nd right now in May is something special. Let's hear from Jameson Taillon after giving up all those home runs here today. He's speaking with the media.
Yeah, I mean, 7 lefties in there. I know that 2, 3, 4 are the guys in their lineup that, you know, hit the homers and do the slugging, and just didn't execute against them. Gotten some weird counts and stuff, but like, to be completely honest, I didn't think some of those pitches were that bad. I think it's kind of a sign that they had a good game plan, and it's on me now to punch back and adjust. Like, it's no secret I pitch lefties away a lot, and just feels like there's some damage being done on pitches away where that's been a strength in the past, and probably need to pitch in more, pitch up more, like just be a little more unpredictable, because right now, obviously, the game's telling me that it's not good enough. So need to be better and just need to find a way to punch back and make that adjustment.
The first one, the Murray change up away, is that one of those pitches you're kind of talking about? It seemed like that wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like that down in a way, but it's away, and he's got a lot of power, but yeah, I mean, just could probably take more shots throwing fours up and in, cutters off in, stuff like that, just so guys can't set their sights out there to where maybe instead of that being a homer, that's, a fly ball out or something if, they're not just zoned in on the away lane.
You kind of look at the home run ball as, it's going to happen, but you've got to kind of limit it, as a fly ball pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like, I don't have a sinker or whatever. Like, I have a high slot and a lot of carry on the ball and stuff, and I understand it's a part of my game. Obviously, like, you hope there's no one on, but also, like, I mean, at some point you hope they pop it up or hit a double in the gap instead of it always being a homer. Like, you watch BP happen and hitters get themselves out a lot, and right now it just feels like every mistake I am making, like, I kind of feel like I need to be perfect, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I need to do a better job of, like, giving myself a little more leeway. So yeah, just every mistake seems to be a homer, and that's the game telling me to make an adjustment. I know it's a part of my game, unfortunately, but, like, it shouldn't be to this extent.
Like, when you think about this is what I'm saying. Like, for me, he went to the well too many times in this at bat right here to Murakami, right? So this is him pitching away, and then you go nitro zone for him up in the zone. Well, and you'll say, well, that wasn't a bad pitch. It's not a bad pitch if it's 98, 99. No, but not at 92. That's a bad pitch to him. I think you got to stay soft with him. I think he's a guy that's, kind of making his living based on the fact that, you know what, you're going to throw me away first pitch, you're going to come back and repeat the second pitch. Well, then I'm just going to look away. And then you look away, boom, we saw where the homers went tonight. This is not to knock J-Mo. It's more of what do you do?
Because he looked great last time.
Well,
0 home runs surrendered. This time, however, complete opposite.
I mean, we saw them making on the wall in spring training. This was something that when you look at the stats in spring training, you were like, wait, maybe it's a misprint, because you didn't think he was going to give up the homers we saw in spring. Because when we seen him in the past, it's like big game. J-Mo is showing up, like he's making the necessary adjustments and doing the little things that he needs to do day in and day out, because he knows he's up against it with his velocity. But he has 6 pitches too. If you look at everything else tonight from him, we saw the mistakes. You know why the mistakes happened in my mind? It's because the secondary stuff wasn't competitive enough. And to me, I always talk about elimination because I'm a hitter, and that's what I did for a living. I eliminate pitches from their repertoire and made them throw the pitch I wanted them to get to, especially when I got in hitters' counts. 3-1, 3-2. I know that you're going to come to me and make a mistake somehow because you can't walk me. So when you think about his secondary stuff tonight, how often did you see competitive approaches where you getting guys to offer it or check swings?
Go. No.
It was none of that. They just had, they just waited for you to make mistakes. And you could tell by how he was delivering the baseball, looking back at the rubber. It just was one of those things where, he was wearing his emotions because he just didn't feel, it looked like he wasn't very comfortable.
Yeah, 6 3-ball counts for Jamison Tayo. And if you just take a look at the 3-ball counts, just 6 times, that's 18 extra pitches that he might not have had to make if you take all the other things out of the equation. And the White Sox hitters, especially right at the top, you see 2 for 4, 2 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 4 with production. You can't have that happen. So let's go to our Insure on the Spot insurance play of the day. And the Cubs, well, one thing they always will do is go out there and play some defense, field their positions, and make sure you put the fellas in good position to win a ball game. Making plays out there in the outfield, in the infield. This is a team that is poised once again for overall team Gold Glove, Cliff.
That's why you put the ball in play, but you got to throw ground balls, right? These guys going to make the plays in the infield. You saw Sayad in the outfield. They get great jumps on the baseball. And you know what? They're not afraid to make mistakes. They're going to go for it. So.
Will, what did you like about how your team responded here tonight?
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff on both sides of the ball. Davis did a great job, obviously attacking the zone, was really effective again. And offensively, the big boys did their job tonight, and obviously there was a ton of slug.
Yeah, 5 homers tonight. Did you feel the momentum building up in the dugout?
Yeah, I mean, they had good at-bats the whole night. You know, they were able to, you know, get good swings on good pitches, and they didn't miss them.
When it comes to Davis, it felt like 2 huge at-bats for him were against Seiya Suzuki. How did you feel like he handled those high-pressure moments?
Yeah, he did a great job. You know, had to work through some traffic there. Really good slider and protected it with the sinker. So really good stuff from Davis.
And some great defense, too, behind him with Tristan Peters, that great catch, and then the one-handed play by Colson there.
Yeah, 2 really big plays. You know, Davis obviously does a great job. You know, to have defense behind him when he's pitching well also really means a lot.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。